I aim to motivate and inspire viewers to see the clothes they wear as an expression of their personality and their beliefs. This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look.
Hello, welcome to episode 38 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda and I am your host. In this episode, I can start off by saying that I will not yet be able to show you the new knitting design that I've been working on using John Arbon's Yarnadelic yarns, the set that they have of mini hanks, 18 different colors. In this design, I'm using all 18. I'm nearly finished. I was hoping to finish it in time for the podcast today, but I haven't quite made it. I will be able to do it this weekend. So photographs of the finished sample are going to come very soon, but I just need the 2 extra days to finish it and hopefully either full it or felt it, depending on how fast it felts and how much smaller it gets. I'm going to hand felt it so that I have control over the end result. That's the plan anyway, but I'll be able to take photographs and maybe film little bits along the way and then show you the process when it's all done. That also means that I don't really have any knitting to show you. I think I finished a pair of socks for my husband since I did my previous knitting update, but apart from that, I've just been working on the Yarnadelic sample. So no other knitting this week. There's a big section of Layercake coming up that's all about the Layercake Palazzos, the new trousers that we've just launched. I just sent them out, the announcement of them in the newsletter a week ago. Today in the podcast, I'll show you what they're all about in terms of how they fit within the Layercake lineup and with the other Layercake bottoms that we already have, how they look similar or different to those with the Layercake tops and tunics that we do, and which colors they come in. But before then, no knitting update, like I said, but a little bit of a highlight for 2 other makers that I really appreciate. So, maker's highlight followed by Layercake update. So, a maker's highlight. I just said that kind of on the hop, but I quite like it. Maybe it's a section that I should start doing regularly. In fact, let's make a formal call of it. If you know of a particular designer, maker, craftsperson who sells their wares, who may be struggling in the face of COVID and who could really do with a little plug on this podcast, please let me know. Send me details of their website if they have one, and maybe contact details so I can ask their permission to talk about their wares on the podcast. This week I'll start off with 2 makers that I want to highlight purely because I appreciate their work so much. The first maker, you can see some of her work already here. This is work by Lucy, who trades as Jeaniebags.co.uk. Jeaniebags are beautiful, beautifully made bags. There is a whole range of them on the website jeaniebags.co.uk. I'm showing 2 of the bags here to you now. One of them is really clever. This is actually Andrea's bag, which she's bought a couple of years ago. So this bag is a couple of years old and you wouldn't know it. It looks virtually like new. And that includes edges and all the metal work and everything. It looks in fantastic condition. And it's a really clever bag. I've tried to drape it as best as I could on my mannequin without arms. But if you imagine real arms here, then the whole backpack would go up a little bit. But this is a backpack that converts into a regular shoulder bag. So if I take the two straps that are on the shoulders off the shoulders and show you what the bag looks like, then you can see that those two shoulder straps are caught at the bottom here. Can you see that? Then they go through these two loops here at the top and they cross over to the other side. If I grab that crossover point and pull it up, then the straps straighten and I have shoulder straps. Do you see that? They can just hang on your shoulder like so and tuck under your arm perfectly. But I could also turn the whole thing into a crossbody by moving these clips, taking them off at the bottom. Actually really easy to remove, I'm just being clumsy. And then attaching them at the top. Do the same with the other one. Attach it at the top. And then I have a really long, either a very long shoulder bag or a bag that can even go crossbody and be tucked under one arm. Isn't that fantastic? I think it's called something toonie. It's something with two. But I have just already shown you 3 ways of wearing this. I think it's fantastic. It's such a clever design. It's got a gusset that's about 2 to 3 inches wide, so the bag effortlessly stands up by itself, unless you would fill it too much. If you bulk it out a lot, then of course it will become top heavy and fall over. And I think that the depth of the gusset is very cleverly chosen because it ensures that is not too bulky when you carry it on your back. There is a back outside pocket with a vertical zip, and then on the top it closes with a zip, so it's very safe. And then when you open it, it's got 2 internal pockets as well. I think one of those may be zipped as well. I'll have a quick look. I won't show you the complete contents. Oh yes, there is a zipped pocket inside and an open, like a little breast pocket type inside as well. All of Andrea's stuff is in here, so that's why I can't tip it over that easily. I absolutely love this design, and so does Andrea. She's been using it with pleasure for the last couple of years. Let me see if I can get this back on this little madam. Kind of hooking it around her virtually non-existing shoulders. Yes, I think it's going to work. Okay.
To show a bag from Jeaniebags, and we wanted to show this to show that handbags are not just for women. Jeaniebags this is their two-way toonie backpack. There are a lot of zipped pockets, some of which lie against the back as a security feature. But when the young man is fed up of carrying things, he can convert it by just altering the straps, and Mum can start carrying it as a handbag, because bless them, they get tired so quickly, don't they? Okay.
Then this is the Sonsi Shopper. You can see a little bit bigger. It's got a wider gusset, about 4 inches I think it is. Excuse the clanging because it's got these wonderful little feet, but of course they're very loud on the glass table. It's got handles that are big enough to carry it on your shoulder and tuck it under your arm. It has a pocket in the back, horizontal pocket, and this one I'll be able to open up and show on the inside because this one is brand new. And what happened was last week Lucy showed a couple of her different bag designs in this particular combination of tweed and wool, and I instantly fell in love with this fabric. I thought it was so fantastic, so beautiful in combination with the pale lilac faux suede. There is a pocket on the outside, a closed pocket on the outside in the back, and then on the inside is a pocket with a zip, large pocket with a zip, and a pocket in the front. Fabulous size, and again it's a bag that stands up very easily by itself, which is right up my alley. I want my bags to be able to stand up or be completely soft and crumply, but I prefer it if they can stand up and I can tuck things in, like my knitting of course. Then this can be left open if you need the extra space. I already know that what's perfect for me is to attach my keys to this clever little hook here, clasp I should say. So, and I will just leave my keys attached to that, my car keys, my door keys. I'll just attach them so that they don't get lost in the bottom of the bag, which is what's happening all the time at the moment with the big basket that I'm using. So perfect timing for switching over. So they all have my keys. So you can keep this open. Of course, this can be tucked inside with keys and all if you need the extra space, or you close it, which pulls these two short ends together, clasp it like that, and then close it. So this one doesn't have that internal zip that the backpack does, which of course you want for a backpack, because if you carry it on your back, you don't want anybody to be able to grab inside. But this way, hands can't get into it. The gaps that are left are not big enough for anybody to grab anything. So it's a very safe way of carrying your things as well. Have a look on the website. The bags are incredibly reasonably priced, in my opinion. Jeaniebags.co.uk. Her turnaround time is fantastic. I highly recommend them. And as you can see, even at 2 or 3 years old, you can hardly see that it's been used, and it's been used every day. So, thank you, Lucy, for a lovely bag. By the way, this little section is in no way sponsored by the makers that I'm mentioning. I paid the normal price for my bag, and Lucy had no idea that I was going to do this. I just came up with the idea after placing the order of the bag. I thought, hang on a minute, what a lovely thing to talk about. And of course they go fantastically well with Layercake. Speaking of Layercake, my second maker that I'm highlighting this week is Andrea, my own Andrea, our own Andrea, who has just recently launched her own website, which I will list down here, for bespoke jackets. She does the most fantastically designed bespoke jackets with beautiful paneling, using the grain and stripes, etc. on the tweeds that she uses to very high effect. She specializes in tweed, and one of the things that she has added are these tweed Baker Boy hats. Now, as you can see here in the back, it's got a little bit of elastic. Do you see that? And they are cut in such a way that they sit quite far over your head. You may have already seen me wearing this one on Instagram, on Andrea's Instagram account. I will put her Instagram handle down here as well. Follow her. But let me just show you these wonderful hats in action, because you end up pulling them, get my mane out of the way, pulling them over the back of your head like this, pulling them all the way down to the nape of your neck. And the elastic is virtually relaxed, just a tiny bit, which makes tiny bit stretched, which makes sure that the hat stays on your head no matter what. You fill it with your hair, it's not tight, so you don't end up with a helmet head of hair. It doesn't get squished, and this is so comfortable. I think I already said it in my comment on Instagram after Andrea posted the hat, that I think I wore the hat for 2 days straight, only taking it off to go to bed, because I've never in my life worn a hat this comfortable. My head is relatively big. My head circumference is 60 centimeters, and most hats are like 57 or 58. So most hats are just slightly uncomfortably tight on me if they stay on my head in the first place, because I've got a lot of hair as well. Now, I've got an undercut which removes a lot of my hair. That helps, but normally it doesn't help enough. There's still a tightness there, and this hat, or these hats I should say, don't have that at all. Of course, she used my tweeds for these. This is the pink herringbone tweed that we have, and this is the large window pane. One was a Christmas present and one was my birthday present. Aren't they fabulous? So have a look at her website. She will make any of the hats that she shows. There's lots of different combinations on the website, all out of tweed, all with beautifully lined in satin. This is her signature lining color. Again, very reasonably priced, and she does the jackets as well. There are bespoke jackets that can be completely made to measure, and she has some standard size jackets as well, which both her and I model on the website, so you can see how a jacket like that sits on somebody who's 5'2", as well as somebody who's 5'10", and how the jackets translate on those different frames. Highly recommended. I love the website. I hope you do too. And as for always, give feedback if you can. Of course, she would love that. She has no idea that I'm filming this segment. It's going to be a surprise, so I hope she loves it. And that's it for the first section this week. Over we go to the Layercake section of the website to talk all about palazzos. Enjoy. I thought I would kick off by showing you the other bottom garments that we have. So this is the Layercake skirt. Comes in 2 sizes and 2 lengths. It's got a fold at the front that you can tie and untie. The fold gets caught in the back as well with a bow, so it stays flat, and it creates an extra interest at the front with that fold coming down, that pleat coming down. It's got an elastic waistband like our other bottom garments, and it is meant to be about ankle length, which is what the long one is on me. And the entire bottom panel, the last 6 inches or so, is made out of a double layer of fabric, which gives extra weight at the bottom and gives it that lovely movement and swing when you walk. It's made out of our sturdy weight linen, so it lasts forever. The other advantage with that double layer of fabric at the bottom is it makes it extra strong. So because it's a long skirt, when you kick into it or it gets more scuffed by shoes or boots, then that's not a problem. It won't damage it because it's extra strong down there. Big pockets, of course, like all of them do. The Layercake skirt. Next one, which is almost a skirt, are of course our baggies, which I'll show you now. Showing them in black. I'll do the others in black as well, because it's really to show you the difference between the different silhouettes. Same big pockets at the bottom as well, to create extra swing, to allow you to put an extra ball of yarn in if you're a knitter. Same kind of elastic waistband. Same story with 2 lengths and 2 widths, if you like, 2 sizes. All the sizes are listed on the website, and I've now created a big grid that shows you which UK dress sizes, approximate dress sizes, correspond with our different Layercake sizes, to give you more of an idea of how it relates back to the traditional sizing. I'm not very keen on the traditional sizing because it doesn't take height and proportions, etc. into account. We base our Layercakes on 1 or 2 key measurements and then sculpt the rest of the garment in combination with the fabric weight in such a way that it looks really good on a wide variety of bodies. I've very recently had some feedback from a lady who is either 4'10" or 4'11" and who bought one of our regular length dresses. It's ankle length on her and she absolutely loves it. And we go all the way up to 6 foot tall ladies who wear our Layercakes as well. Sizes above and below those 2 outer limits we accommodate, of course, with our bespoke garments. I guess you may know all of this, but all of it was really on the back of telling you that I've got a grid for all the different Layercake garments and how they relate to traditional sizing. So back to the baggies. In terms of the way they sit around the top of like your hips and your bum, etc., quite similar actually to the skirt. And they are, in that respect, the closest to the skirt. And we're moving from the skirt to the palazzos via the baggies. And next ones, of course, are the high-lows. Here they are in black. These are the long ones, worn full length. Now with the high-lows, we do have the 2 different lengths, but we don't have the 2 different widths. We have felt in the years that we've been selling the high-lows that there hasn't been the kind of demand that we quite soon felt we had with the skirt and the baggies of needing a smaller size that had a lot less fabric around this area, which is what the smaller size baggies and the smaller skirt do. With the high-lows, because of their shape and because they are so balloony, that kind of roundishness that you've got all the way down the leg, we felt that it wasn't necessary to make a smaller circumference version of it. That's quite a different story with the palazzos. Just to finish the story of the high-lows, in case they are new to you, high-lows can be tied up at the leg to make them shorter and to create a plus-4 type look. It shortens them by about 4 inches and it gives you a chance to have both a cropped version and a full-length version of the trouser and wear them with little booties, etc. that you want to show off. But without further ado, here they finally are, the palazzos. I hope you can see it straight away compared to the previous picture that the palazzos have a sleeker, slimmer silhouette than the high-lows do. They are more fitted around this part of your body. The idea is that they skim your bum and your hips quite nicely, and then without a lot of extra fabric, and then go straight down. It's all to try and create that column kind of shape. And the idea behind them is to try and create a long and straight column without making the trousers too wide. So there is a balance between the circumference of the trousers and the height, of course, the length. So the idea behind the palazzos is that you wear them full length. Of course, tall people who want a cropped trouser could wear the shorter palazzos if they wanted to, but the idea behind the design is that it's a full-length trouser, is worn relatively high-waisted, and then hangs all the way straight down to the floor. In terms of what we see around us out in the market, these are considered wide trousers, but when it comes to their circumference here, there is not meant to be a lot of positive ease. Some, but not a lot. So we make these trousers in 2 different widths as well, and 2 different lengths again. Have a look on the website to see whether the measurements work for you. I expect that I may get some responses for people saying, hey, they don't go quite as big as we expected. I thought you were size inclusive. Absolutely we are. So we can make them bigger for you. However, the silhouette changes a lot. The idea of the shape that we have in mind, like a relatively straight elongated line, we can achieve that with this shaping with the overalls, for example, because they go up higher, they have this waistline in it, and then with the bib it creates a long line, which is the idea behind this shape. But with the regular height trousers, I will actually show you, because we did a pair in a much larger size. They would be considered too big for me, but I want to show you how that extra fabric affects the silhouette. And I hope you understand what I'm talking about when I show you that. So these are based on a size 3 overalls. So this would fit our size 3 customers in terms of circumference and be comfortable and give them plenty of room still to move and sit. However, can you see what I'm talking about in terms of what happens with the silhouette? And because they are straight, look how big the bottom of the trousers becomes, how wide they become. They go well beyond the tip of my foot. Now, of course, that is a direct result of the circumference being bigger. My point is, though, that with trousers that are meant to fit a bigger size, you have to keep in mind, or I keep in mind, what happens with the translation of a particular shape and a body shape and a body size and a body height. So when I was talking about that 5 foot, 4 foot 10 or 4 foot 11 lady wearing one of our regular length dresses, there's a specific reason that we don't make that dress in a petite version. We do a regular and a long, but we do not do a petite. It's not because I want to deny our shorter customers, the shorter frames, the opportunity to wear a shorter dress, but because I believe that the proportions of our particular dress design change in a way that doesn't work with the design. I do not like those proportions. So if I were to work on a dress shape for a much shorter frame, it would be a different dress. It would be a different shaped dress, because I think proportions are so important. And it's not actually about looking flattering or looking slimming. That's not what it is. And that's what I'm saying here. I don't dislike these trousers, but they don't do what I intend a pair of palazzo trousers to do and be and look like. So if I would design a pair of trousers specifically with our size 3 customers in mind, it would be a different design than this. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, I need to blow my nose, and I'm going to go back to the other pair of palazzos. So this is the bigger size in the longer length again. And just to finish off the point that I was just making, I'm very keen to hear from you, especially if you believe that these trousers and the sizes that I make them now exclude you from wearing them for whatever reason, and you would like to discuss with me whether we can make you a version of these that would look good on you, or whether you agree or don't agree with the points that I was making just before. I love to have that discussion fueled with opinions and feedback. I do not profess to know everything. Of course, I go by my own aesthetic and by my own preferences, but I also want to make everybody who wants to wear Layercake feel included and feel that there is a range of garments that they can feel really happy in and feel comfortable and confident wearing. So, all right, now let me show you a couple of outfits, finally. I apologize for all the digressions, but I wanted to share with you the story of how we came to these and how they come to be the size that they are. So let me start by adding one of our herringbone dusters to this. As you can see, it's a very different look from the combination with our nice white and blousy baggings. It ends up baggies. Oh goodness me. This is not just because it's this particular color combination that makes it look more classic and more formal. Of course, those colors make a difference, but we'll show you combinations with the different colors of the palazzos that we do, and more colorful tops as well, to see how that combines. And you'll still see that it's still a more classic or more traditional, if you like, combination of garments, purely because of that straight pillar look that the palazzos generate. So the other thing with the palazzos and having little mini tabard in the same color on top is back to that elongated look. And of course I wanted to show you how the top of the palazzos look, and that's why I started with the little mini tabard. Let me go for a different color, but keep the duster and see what that's like. Still kept it very neutral, kept it classic, but just by changing the color of the mini tabard, it makes a big difference to the overall look of the outfit, don't you think? It really emphasizes the trousers and the line that they create. And then with these neutral kind of combinations, you have a really nice complete outfit. By the way, I'm showing two other colors here. The charcoal with a mini tabard, and that's the steel. And I'm showing that from the side to emphasize that side aspect, and to show you what happens, of course, if you are not quite as big as I am, then that shrinks down and you get a narrower pillar going down. I am pretty much at my heaviest at the moment. All the good work that I did last year losing weight all went to pot around Christmas, and more afterwards actually. The last 2 months, oh my gosh, haven't worked out enough. Anyway, I'm about to go back on the wagon, and for me that is no booze, no sugar and no flour. That's the fastest way for me to lose weight. Let me know if you want to know more about this. Anyway, this is not about diets. It's more about health as well for me. I can feel it when I'm this heavy. I don't feel right in my own body. Anyway, so the charcoal and the steel and the black. Oh, here I go again. No, actually, I'm going to change. I was going to say let's bring in some more color, but before I do that, I'm going to change the silhouette of the top, because this is very flouncy. What if I go for something more boxy in combination with the Palazzos? Let me show you. See what I mean? How different. The straightness, the straight lines of the step top, and how they combine with the straight lines of the Palazzos. I love these kind of simple shapes and simple lines. Strong, simple lines. And because of course the size of this looks good on any body really. With, for me, those sleeves are kind of 3/4 length. Of course, if you've got a smaller frame, you've got narrower shoulders, you've got narrower hips, it all drops down a little bit further. So all that happens is that the sleeve goes a little bit further down your arm, but it'll never be down here. We made sure of that. Same happens if you're a bigger size, then everything gets lifted a little bit, and the sleeves may be slightly shorter on you, but they'll never go as short as your elbow. So they'll always stay somewhere in this part of your lower arm, no matter what your size is. Good. Let's contrast it instead of doing the same color. Here's the blush step top. Another very versatile color, can be worn by people across the spectrum of spring, summer, autumn and winter color palettes. I'm a winter, but I have a friend who is a spring, for example, which is warm colors rather than cool colors. Suits her just as well as it does me. I'm a very light winter, sprinter winter. Andrea is a sultry winter. She can wear this color as well. It's very, very versatile. It's a little bit like the natural linen, because it doesn't go towards a yellow or towards a blue in its undertones. It suits a very, very wide variety of people. It's a proper neutral. And so is this, funnily enough. Just had an idea of wearing this, but then putting a black synergy top over the top so you can see this color of the sleeves, but a black body. I'm just going to see what it looks like, because I'm so curious to see it. I think I've said it before, when I'm doing this and I'm filming these, it's really the only time that I play with our existing range. When it comes to creative time, that gets spent more on new designs than playing with the existing ones. So playing with the existing ones is what I do in the podcast. Oh man, look at that. The color blocks. Nice, huh? Of course you get the double layer here, but you could also have a synergy top and then knit sleeves in a contrasting color like this. That would be really cool. And then you can go for a contrasting panel here as well. Haven't even started experimenting with that yet. Or maybe even one of the gradients. Okay, let's not get carried away. I'm going to show you more color. What about the bitter lime? I've combined it just with that same black mini tabard to make a start and show you how good a color bitter lime is when you compare it with neutrals or combine it with neutrals. I'll immediately dress it up a little bit. Let me add to this a tail smock. I haven't shown you a tail smock yet, which is fantastic in combination with the Palazzos. Look! The black gingham in a tail smock over the top of my little mini tabard, which just puts that extra layer on top of my tummy, which I don't want to show off because it just doesn't look great and it doesn't make me feel great. And it's not about, oh, she's trying to hide her fat or whatever. I know I'm overweight, but I don't want to be reminded of that all the time in my own mind. So it's not about trying to hide it. It's trying to dress in a way that makes me feel comfortable with myself. Even though I want to make changes and think, well, I know exactly what I need to do. I know exactly what I need to change in terms of my eating and drinking pattern to lose this weight again. And until I do, I want to feel great as well. And that's one of the big drivers of the whole Layercake collection, to wear clothes that you are comfortable in. Even if your body doesn't look or feel the way you would like it to, I think Layercake can be a real step in the right direction when it comes to feeling comfortable in that body. Does that make sense? Anyway, so just wanted to show you bitter lime as one of our brighter colors and how gloriously it combines with these neutrals without being super loud. It's just like, oh, what an interesting color. What a lovely contrast to the top half, rather than, oh my God, she looks like a clown. Do you know what I mean? Let's keep adding color. Get rid of the neutrals and add some colors to the bitter lime, which is such an interesting colorway and goes with so many of the other layer cakes, but it's not necessarily a color that you're used to playing with. So I want to show you a couple of examples while showing off the Palazzos, because I haven't shown them with a tabard or a smock yet, for example. So let's do that. Here's an exciting one. Peacock with bitter lime. Look at that. These colors absolutely zing together, and that is because, of course, they've got a color in common. The warp of both of these fabrics is our apple green color, the bright green. Then this is combined with teal, and this is combined with a tobacco type color. Actually, I can show you. Can I show you which color that is? It's in here. I've got a panel in that color on it. Where? Oh yeah, here. This color. That's the color that is woven together with the green to make bitter lime. Isn't it cool? Actually, with this scarfie, if I keep these on and then put a dark teal tabard on, that would look fantastic together with this scarf. Anyway, I'll do that next. Want to show you that straight line, that column look, elongating look of the Palazzos in combination with a smock, which is all about the curves, and of course the Palazzos are not. So it makes the smock look different as well compared to, for example, the baggies, which takes that curved look and these roundish lines all the way down to the bottom and then with that sweep in between your legs with the baggies. It's a very different silhouette from this. I think the points are more prevalent with the palazzos than they are with the baggies. The baggies kind of integrate those points in that round look like the dress does as well. But here you get the straight look of the palazzos and then with the curves of the smock above it. Very, very different look, very effective and very, very comfortable, very casual, but can also be dressed up. If you go back to the very classic colors, then of course this can be made to look much more classic as well. Let me grab the dark teal in a tabard. Oh, yum. Look how blue the dark teal looks in combination with the yellow that's in the bitter lime. Put my scarfie on like I was planning to. No, I'm going to wear it long. That's the thing when you knot this streperig like this in the front, then this looks like a low hanging collar. Can you see that? It's the way those points behave. So you pull these to the front. I'm putting the bitter lime triangle on top. That's no coincidence. Just to emphasize the contrast with my tabard. You got this point still in the back that covers that spot at your neck that always goes chilly. But back to the palazzos. What do we think? See how we always talk about how the tabard shape emphasizes the length of your legs, and that is really accentuated with the palazzos, which is why we say wear them full length, wear them all the way to the floor to create that look and that silhouette. There's one more color of palazzos to go, the purple ones. Another unusual color choice, you might think. Let's have a look at them. Dark teal with the violet. And I quickly grabbed a fairly, again I'll wear it long. Don't have to bunch up quite as much anymore when the sun is shining, which it is here today in the south of England. I'm ready for spring, are you? Look at that. Now I've got a whole bunch of layer cake lovers who would jump at the purple palazzos because it'll go with all their other layer cakes. But I also know that I have a whole bunch that would say, oh, I really like that violet, but I can't wear it, it washes me out, or I just find it too bright. Consider a pair of palazzos in that trouser, in that color. Yeah, completely undermine any serious point I try to make with these mistakes, don't I? Anyway, try again. Consider a pair of palazzo trousers in that bright color, because depending on what you combine it with, as I always say, you can enjoy that color without wearing it next to the color of your face. If you think the purple doesn't suit you, this kind of purple could be played down or come back in a much smaller accent if you want to bring it back without dominating. So you can combine that purple with a lot more neutral colors and still enjoy wearing it. I'll go back to the Peacock and show you what that is like against the purple. Peacock and purple. Gorgeous together. What do you think? And then again, you can jazz it up or calm it down. I'll show you both. Long duster in the blue. Do you agree that the Palazzos don't look loud, even in this bright violet? With the rest of this outfit, neither does the rest of the outfit look dull. There's a nice color balance. Colorful, but not loud. Let me dial up the violet with a contrast. There it is. Lovely springtime. Lovely contrasts, nice balance between the different colors, and the violet is looking just that bit more bright. See it? Let's keep going with more colors. I know that for some of you, bright really is best. You know who you are. Here is the purple smock with the violet palazzos. Bright, 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 but not loud. I think the really only really loud color that we do is the pink. I'll grab it because it goes with this guy. So the purple linen is woven out of this color and our blue. The blue that's in the blue black. That same blue is in the violet together with a red purple color, which makes this, and that's why these go so well together, because they share the blue. These go so well together because they share the pink. So they're all in the same spectrum. But I would say that by far this is our loudest color. Our other colors, even the loud ones, are all kind of muted a bit one way or another. The purple with the blue, the pink herringbone by bringing in the neutral together with this pink, etc. So that's about it, I think, for Palazzos. If you have any questions, let me know. Speaking from memory, there's 4 inch of length difference between the longest Palazzos and the regular length. The Palazzos, just like the overalls and the skirt, have a long panel at the bottom. It is probably 7 inches long of double fabric to create the nice heavy flow and to make it hang nice and straight. They have flat pockets, she said, showing off a smock. They have flat pockets just like the overalls, rather than the slightly roundish pockets of the other garments, to again accentuate that elongated look, but the pockets are just as big. I hope you enjoy them. The special offer on them runs until the end of Monday, so you've got some time to watch this and respond to it if you'd like to make use of the offer. For now, I'm signing off. Have a lovely weekend or week ahead of you, depending on when you watch this, and I'll see you again soon.